Welcome to the RM Seneca channel. My name is Ruth. The P is silent. Seneca. This is where we collect and share stories. This video is going to be the mid-year freakout tag. So from what I gather of the mid-year freakout tag, it's just to get kind of like temperature on how you're feeling about what you've read, how you are as a reader. I got this from generally just being on YouTube, BookTube specifically. And I think the first video I ever saw of this was from Bonnie Nicole, and I'm going to steal my first question from her because I didn't see it in the list of questions that I do have prepared. How are you feeling about reading this year? Personally, this year, my New Year's resolution is just to welcome growth. And when it comes to reading, that's something I am actively trying to push myself to do. And I feel really good about it because I do feel like I'm growing. I have a video right now that I'm working on, which is trying to override my cringe with romance and exposing myself to multiple romance books. And the last time I did that was with fantasy, trying to kind of override my bias against fantasy as like kind of looking at it as like a childish genre, like the equivalent of what Disney movies are to Disney adults. I thought of don't shoot. Through reading fantasy books, it also helped me gain the perspective that when you read a fantasy book, it could be like your first gateway into becoming politically cognizant. And then also it helps adults and children realize like how systems are made and your role in that system. You know what I mean? So I feel very happy about where I am with reading because I am pushing myself to gain as much perspective as I can and to also just enjoy the journey without focusing on quantity. I really am trying to drive the quality. Second is what's the best book I read this year? The Giver by Lois Lowry. Oh my word. The Giver, I could not have prepared for how deeply that impacted me. I even in like therapy, me and my therapist discuss The Giver, and I think that's a hallmark of a good book is when you can discuss it in like light situations and difficult situations. Like sometimes I feel like a real life situation is like if you are a more emotionally mature person than like one of your loved ones. This is how this comes up in my therapy sessions is like sometimes I'll be like, I feel like I'm the giver because I feel like I'm aware of these things that other people just are not even cognizant of. They don't even have the ability to like gain that. When you can take an idea from a book and make it real life applicable, it's nice to reference even though it is difficult topic, difficult things. Best nonfiction of the year has to be a book I made a video on, which is Want by Gillian Anderson. Gillian Anderson is an actress. She plays Otis's mom on Sex Education. In order to prepare for her role as a sex therapist, she gathered hundreds of anonymous essays from women all around the world to talk about their own sexual desires and their own sexual fantasies. It impacted me so deeply where I had to make a video about it. I can't stop talking about it. I recommend it to anybody that will listen that I know is like open to that type of a thing. New release that I haven't read this year. Yesteryear. I just want to see what all the hype is about. I want to see what all the mixed reviews are. Some people are saying that because it's satirical, satire tends to like divide people because some people really just don't vibe with satire and some people do. Personally, I love a good satire and I think I'm gonna like what the subject is on. You never know. I just want to see what it's all about. So I haven't read Yesteryear yet, but I want to. Biggest disappointment of this year was I don't even want to talk about it. It just makes me annoyed. This book called Beautyland. I read this because I went into this book club where they like advertised that it was a Views from the Margin book club, which is kind of focusing on highlighting marginalized people. And this book was like about a poor Italian girl who's being raised by a single mom and believes that she's an alien. So to keep contact with her alien people, alien connections, she writes through a fax machine and gives them like reports about how her life is going on Earth because she believes that she's been sent down to Earth. And I really wanted to like the premise so bad. I really wanted to like it so bad, but I ended up giving it a 2. Part of that is because the book club made it seem like, oh, this is going to be a marginalized, this is like about a poor Italian, which I know we can debate the marginalized identity, I guess, but I was kind of just like, this is not, what is this? Biggest surprise of the year was The Giver. the minute that I finished it, I wanted to read it again. Newest fictional crush. Oh my god. I knew immediately when I was thinking about this. It is Griffin Lovell. Even thinking about it, I'm shaking a bit. Griffin Lovell from Babel. Oh my god. Babel. I've heard it multiple ways. I just say Babel because I read it through audio, and I'm pretty sure they said Babel. Griffin Lovell is Robin Swift, the main character's older brother, and they made him really sexy in the audiobook. They made his voice so sexy. Newest favorite character? Mrs. Silly. But I loved the main character, who doesn't even have a name. I checked. I'm pretty sure she does not have a name, and we're just supposed to refer to her as the main character in Rest and Relaxation. That girl, I would read any book that focused on her because I found her perspective to be unnervingly relatable. You know, just like, this is somebody that took a bunch of pills that wanted to sleep for like a fiscal year. And had just the desire to not be awake. And I mean, she was horrible. She's not a good friend. She's not a good loved one. She only said that she loved her psychiatrist. She's like, I think I might love my psychiatrist because her psychiatrist is supplying her with the drugs to like finish her mission. She's not a good person, but she was so enthralling to read. A book that made you cry, Babel, R.F. Kuang. Shout out to you, Rebecca. You did your big one with Babel. Babel really is a masterpiece. Like, could not be touched by anyone else because I hold it in such high regard. Truly, like, it's crazy because R.F. Kuang, you know, I'm pretty sure her schedule is full, and she was also a student. I think at the time of writing this, it would take me 10 years to come close to anything like Babel. It's insane. A book that made me happy, this one is messed up for me to say, but Lost Lambs, that made me happy because it was so funny. It's not like a book that is happy-go-lucky, like just a feel-good story. It's not that at all. But it left me with just kind of like that was really fun. That was a fun, kooky story, and the way that things were handled were mostly good. I say mostly because I did have a qualm with the stereotyping in the book of a specific character, but overall, it just made me happy. Book to movie adaptation. I'm so happy to talk about this, but the book, The Lost Daughter, was adapted into the Netflix film starring, I forget her name as the actress. I'll put her face up on the screen. But this was the first movie that I'd seen from a book where I think the film adaptation was better than the book. I don't think I ever have felt that ever. I do recommend, if you have read the book or even if you're just interested, this is about a woman who is on vacation. She becomes obsessed with this local family that she's kind of vacationing next to, and you're realizing that she as a mother has a very complex history, has potentially done like psychological potential abuse. I don't know, it's like very vague, but the movie helps you put into perspective the human that the main character is, the mother. Loved it. Most beautiful book you bought? I haven't bought any books, and I really haven't been reading books with very beautiful covers. I think the last book that I read, Leave Your Mess at Home, it had a good cover, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is incredibly beautiful. But I did think it was very captivating. What book are you most looking forward to? I'm looking forward to reading Go Gentle by Maria Semple. I read Where'd You Go, Bernadette by her. I enjoyed it incredibly. I'm actually keeping it. Got it from my book hunting video. And I just think that her writing style is just exciting. And I think the story is about a woman going through divorce. And I love to read about grief and loss. So I'm very excited to read it. I have no idea exactly what it's about for real, but we're just gonna see. Let me know if you have any specific questions that stood out to you. You could recommend me a book. I am looking for a 5-star always. I'll settle even for a 3, but wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is, I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night.